There's 193 UN member states and 2 observer states, but today I want to take a detour into the world of what if. But fear not, Canadian enthusiasts, we'll get to our North American giant later in this video. Today I'm inviting you to explore 3 places where people have long dreamed of running their own show. They've been at it for ages, and it's time we peek into their past, present, and maybe, just maybe, their future. And putting the title aside, I'm not saying these places will become countries or should become countries. In fact, I just want to take a look at something that I find interesting. If you enjoy this video and also find it interesting or find something new, make sure you like and subscribe, and let's just get right into it. Our first visit is the sunny place named Catalonia. In present times, Catalonia encompasses much of its medieval and early modern principality. It shares its borders with France and Andorra to the north, while the Mediterranean Sea lies to its east. To the west, it meets the Spanish autonomous communities of Aragon, and to the south, Valencia. With approximately 580 kilometers of coastline, Catalonia boasts prominent geographical features like the Pyrenees and the Pre-Pyrenees, the Transversal Range, and the Central Depressions, to name a few. Its official language include Catalan, Spanish, and the Aranese dialect of Occitan, and sorry if I mispronounced that. However, going into the more political side, following the Spanish Civil War, the Francois regime imposed strict measures stripping Catalonia of its self-governance and outlawing the use of Catalan. Despite this period of hardship from the late 1950s to the 1970s, Catalonia experienced remarkable economic growth. This surge attracted workers from various parts of Spain, transforming Barcelona into one of Europe's major industrial hubs, and elevating Catalonia as a premier tourist destination. With the advent of Spain's transition to democracy, which finished around 1982, Catalonia regained its autonomy, maintaining its position as one of Spain's most economically vibrant regions. In recent years, there has been a surge in support for Catalan independence. On October 27, 2017, the Catalan Parliament declared independence after a referendum deemed unconstitutional by the Spanish government. Responding to this, the Spanish Senate authorized direct rule, dismissing the Catalan government and calling for regional elections. Subsequently, the Spanish Supreme Court imprisoned 7 former Catalan ministers on charge of rebellion and misuse of public funds, while others, including then-presidents, sought refuge in other European nations. In 2021, those imprisoned were granted pardons by the Spanish government. Indeed, Catalonia's journey has been tumultuous, prompting curiosity about the factors that led to its boiling point, the events that unfolded, and what lies ahead. What sparked this contentious situation, what unfolded to reach this critical juncture, and perhaps most importantly, what does the future hold for Catalonia? The roots of separatism in Catalonia can be traced back to the mid-19th century, but the contemporary independence movement gained momentum around 2009. This was spurred by several factors, including the financial crisis of 2007 and 2008, and the legal challenge of the 2006 Statute of Autonomy by the Popular Party in the constitutional municipalities between 2009 and 2011. This culminated into huge protests following a 2010 court ruling deeming parts of the statute unconstitutional. The subsequent snap election in 2012 saw the first pro-independence majority in the Catalan Parliament. In 2014, a non-binding self-determination referendum yielded a majority in favor of independence, though with low turnout due to boycotts despite its illegality. According to the Spanish government and Constitutional Court, a binding referendum was called in 2017, which sparked intense political and social controversy, such as police violence aimed at halting the vote. The Catalan Parliament's approval of a motion to proclaim an independent republic was met with the Spanish Senate's decision to take control of Catalan's institutions until new regional elections. Subsequent arrests and fleeing of regional government leaders, including then-president, ensued, and in 2019, the Spanish government agreed to hold negotiations with Catalonia's government, albeit with prior considerations of independence or self-determination. The 2024 elections marked a significant shift, with separatist parties losing their parliament parliamentary majority for the first time in a decade. Despite the headlines suggesting Spain's heavy-handed approach to Catalonia, it's crucial to note that many people boycotted the referendum, and opinion polls have consistently shown a tight race, with recent polls in 2021 indicating a slight advantage for the no side, winning by 52%. Moving on from Catalonia, let's go up north to Scotland. You see, Scotland is a captivating country within the United Kingdom. It boasts stunning landscapes and a rich history. With nearly 1/3 of the UK's land area and over 790 islands, it's a land of remarkable diversity. Bordered by England to the southeast, Scotland is surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean, the North Sea, and the Irish Sea. Its population of over 5 million contributes to around 8% of the UK's total. Emerging as an independent sovereign state in the 9th century, Scotland's history is steeped in tradition. In 1603, the crown would be merged to form the kingdoms of England, Ireland, and Scotland. And fast forward to 1707, and Scotland and England combined forces to establish the Kingdom of Great Britain. Despite this, a Scottish Parliament was re-established in 1999. Recent events such as Scotland's vote to remain in the EU amidst the UK's departure have reignited discussions for independence. In 2022, the Lord Advocate Dorothy Bain advocated for another referendum, though the Supreme Court ruled against it. Nevertheless, the Scottish government remains determined, seeking amendments to the Scotland Act of 1998 to pave the way for a future referendum. Scotland stands as a prime example when considering contemporary nonviolent sovereignty movements globally. It's often hailed as the poster child for such movements, as Scotland's journey towards self-determination resonates deeply with similar struggles worldwide. One pivotal moment arrived in 1967 when the Scottish National Party, also known as SNP, clinched their second ever seat in the House of Commons, marking a turning point in Scotland's political landscape. The unexpected victory in the Hamilton by-election captured the imagination of many, signaling a growing momentum for Scottish autonomy. The discovery of North Sea oil in 1970 also injected fresh energy into the debate surrounding Scottish independence. You see, the SNP spearheaded a compelling campaign titled "It's Scotland's Oil," highlighting the potential economic benefits for Scotland amidst industrial decline. Talking about decline, let's talk about growth. You see, I'm on a mission to get 2,000 subscribers before the end of the summer, and that's the end of August. And if I want that to happen, well, I need your help. So if you could just take a second, press that like and subscribe button, it would truly help me so much. All this content is completely free and it takes a bunch of time to make. So if you want to see the quality keep on growing, please just like and subscribe, and I won't bother for too long. Let's get right back into the video. Fast forwards to February of 1974's general election, where the SNP made significant gains, securing 7 MPs. This success was further amplified in the subsequent October election, when the SNP won 11 seats and garnered over 30% of the total vote in Scotland. These developments culminated in a pivotal referendum on devolution, with the result hanging in the balance. Despite a narrow majority in favor, 52% to 48%, the referendum faced critical stipulation. At least 40% of the total electorate needed to vote in favor for it to be deemed valid. However, with a turnout of only 63.6%, the threshold was not met, and the Scotland Act of 1978 was subsequently repealed in March of 1979. In 1997, Scotland found itself swept up in favor for independence once again. The landslide victory of the Labour Party in the general election that year paved the way for a significant development: the agreement by Donald Dewar, the Secretary of State for Scotland, to the proposal of the Scottish Parliament. A pivotal referendum followed, where an overwhelming 74.3% of voters endorsed the devolution plan, marking a monumental step towards self-governance. In May of 1999, Scotland celebrated a historic milestone as it held its first election for a devolved parliament. The session that ensued in July of that same year was particularly poignant, marking the first gathering of the Scottish Parliament since its adjournment in 1707, a gap of 292 years. And with Donald assuming the role of First Minister, the Scottish National Party emerged as the main opposition party, setting the stage for a new era of governance. However, this referendum wasn't the moment for full independence. It would take another 17 years before Scotland would have the opportunity for a decisive vote on independence. The moment gathered pace in 2011 when the SNP secured an overall majority in the Scottish Parliament. First Minister Alex Salmond expressed his intent to hold a referendum within the following years, ultimately leading to negotiations between the UK and Scottish governments. Finally, in September 2014, the long-awaited Scottish independence referendum took place. The outcome, announced in the early hours of September 19th, revealed a no vote prevailing with 55%. Despite a spirited campaign for independence, Glasgow, in a notable exception, backed independence, underscoring the diverse sentiments within Scotland. In the aftermath, Salmond gracefully accepted the verdict, urging unity and acceptance of the democratic process. With the backdrop of past referendums, the future of Scottish independence remains a captivating saga. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon's proposal for a second referendum by October 2023 added fuel to the ongoing debate. However, Prime Minister Boris Johnson's swift rejection of the request for a transfer of powers marked a significant hurdle. The subsequent legal battle saw the Scottish government challenging the Supreme Court to determine the competence of the Scottish Parliament to legislate for a referendum independently, and despite Scotland's determination, the Supreme Court's ruling dashed hopes for unilateral action by the Scottish Parliament. In response, Scotland hinted at a strategic shift, suggesting that the next UK general election could serve as a de facto referendum on independence. This tactic, previously employed by Irish and Catalan nationalists, sparked debate and criticism, with concerns raised about conflating elections with referendum. As opinions continue to diverge, recent polls in Scotland paint a nuanced picture. While 45% oppose independence, 38% remain in favor, a reflection of the enduring complexities and uncertainties surrounding Scotland's quest for self-determination. Finally, we end up in the country I so often speak about, Canada. And of course, we have our own province who have sought independence before, and of course, I'm talking about Quebec. Quebec is a fascinating province in Canada full of history and culture. It's the biggest province in terms of land and the second largest in population. Most people live in cities along the beautiful St. Lawrence River, between Montreal and Quebec City. Situated in central Canada, Quebec shares borders with other provinces and territories, as well as a coastline with Nunavut. Its past as a French colony shaped its journey to becoming part of modern Canada. And in the 1960s to 1980s, a big change called the Quiet Revolution happened, which shifted Quebec's focus from the influence of the Catholic Church to a stronger governmental role, giving Quebecers more say in their own affairs and identity. And during this time, we would also see the rise of Quebec's independence movement. You see, in 1969, Quebec witnessed the emergence of a pro-independent force with the creation of the Parti Québécois, known as the PQ. Their impact was felt swiftly, as evidenced by their significant gains in the 1970 elections, where they secured 7 seats. However, it was the landmark 1976 election that truly catapulted the PQ into prominence, winning a majority in the National Assembly with a remarkable 41.4% of the vote. A pivotal moment came in 1980, when the concept of sovereignty association was proposed in a referendum. Despite a spirited campaign, the proposal was rejected by 60% of voters. Yet, this setback didn't deter the PQ, which returned to power in 1994 under Jacques Parizeau, reigniting the fever for sovereignty. The failure of the Meech Lake Accord also birthed the Bloc Québécois, known as the BQ, a sovereigntist federal party led by Lucien Bouchard. This marked a turning point in federal politics, with the BQ becoming the official opposition in the House of Commons in 1993. The 1995 referendum was another pivotal moment, although the no campaign narrowly prevailed. Looking ahead after 2 unsuccessful referendums, what's the pulse of the independent movement in Quebec? It's been rather quiet, with intermittent surges of interest. However, with the upcoming elections, the Parti Québécois is poised for a comeback after nearly a decade out of power. Their return could reignite discussions about a referendum. So what do the polls say? Currently, they indicate a leaning towards no with 53%, while support for independence sits at around 36%. So as we bid farewell to our 3 poster children of sovereignty movements, we understand that it's never an easy journey, and it's often a closely contested one. Whether these 3 places will become countries, I can't say, and again, this video isn't to say that they should or should not, so please don't get too political in the comments below. But what I can say is, if you learned anything new or simply enjoyed the video, you should like and subscribe. Your feedback is invaluable, so let me know what you'd like to see next in the comments down below. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.